It's a beautiful Monday morning in the city of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin. All right, let's go straight to the front pages of the dailies, and I'm starting with Vanguard. Vanguard this morning is leading with Buhari backs Emefiele over Naira redesign. Expert caution on interface by fiscal and monetary authorities. You can see that story on page 4. Inside Vanguard newspaper, we have new interest rate regime drives off investment in FGN savings bond. Subscription up 261% as value rise 68.7%. It's crowding out equities, real sector. You can see that on that's on the page 34 of Vanguard newspaper, and that's according to the analyst. Still on page 34, we have terror alert. Anxiety grows. Buhari holds emergency security meeting today. Shibajo, ex-Colombia president, AFDB lead new job creation efforts with carbon markets. Service-wide vote. How Justice Ministry failed to account for 2.2 billion naira collected between 2017 and 2021. That's according to Senate. On page 9, we have third quarter. Dangote increases cement sales by 6.2% to 20.8 MT. NAFDAC dismisses claims of mercury in vaccines administered to children. Stories above on page 11, we have insecurity. We'll start joint patrols in December. That's according to Southeast Governor. I dare you to stop political ambition of loyalists. BK challenges IU. You can see that on page 12. Nigeria loses 70,000 barrels of crude daily, and that's according to the minister. You can see that on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper, and that's all we have on Vanguard. Away from there, we'll move to the Punch newspaper. The Punch this morning is leading with CBN destroys over 6 trillion naira banknotes under Buhari. Apex Bank spent 3.88 billion naira to dispose of mutilated banknotes in 5 years. Naira slumps to 785 per dollar as reserves deep. Local currency faces more pressure. President defends Emefiele as criticism mounts against Naira redesign. You can see that on page 28 of the Punch newspaper. And on the front page, we have 3 photo stories with the writer that says that Lagos Ibadan traffic, motorists on one-way compound gridlock. You can see that on page 5. On page 10, Senate probes AGF Malami's ministry over 2.2 billion naira expenditure. Borno House wife poisons chief imam, says, I hate marriage. You can see that on pages 4 and 5. Oil earnings crashed by 288 billion naira in third quarter, and that's coming from federal government. You can see that on page 23. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have Lagos Ibadan Expressway. Student fundraise ransom, kidnap mates released. Buhari to meet security chiefs. Postpone events, and soldier kills terrorist in Kaduna. Terror bombings, Somalia to fly critically injured victims abroad. Death toll now 104. And countries condemn attacks. Buhari, Pope, others mourn 161 soul stampede victims. You can see that story on pages 2, 4, 5, and 14 of the Punch newspaper. And away from the Punch, we move straight to the Guardian. The Guardian this morning is leading with 2023 economy in dire strength. OPS tells candidates go beyond rhetorics. Doubt persists over immediate subsidy removal by next government. Tinubu, Atiku, Obi are pro-market reformers, good for economy. You can see that on the front page, and it continues on page 6. On page 3, we have Falana demands information over 17 billion naira patrol tracking technology contracts. On page 3, aviation workers issue MMA to 7-day picket notice over massacre. Terror alert, youth leaders allege plot to kill Kanu. You can see that on page 8. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, we have Afenifere divided on Tinubu, Obi as Fashoranti host APC candidates. You can see that on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And that's all we have on the front pages of the dailies this morning. Join us after the break with our guest as he analyzes the stories. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. I'm Damlola Ogunshakin. Joining me to analyze the front pages of the dailies this morning is Mr. Aliu Mohammed. He's the CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. Good morning, Mr. Aliu.
Good morning, Damilola. How are you today?
I'm very fine. Thank you.
Did you
very
trek
much.
to the office? Or?
No, I didn't, surprisingly. Of course, we have to talk about how extremely busy it is today on the road of Lagos. The fact that, it seems they've commenced their proposed 7-day strike. That's the bus drivers. But what do you think about it and, the situation?
Well, for once, I want to support the reason for their going on strike, because in Lagos, we have a lot of multiple taxation here, not minding the economic situation of the country. Here you have to pay income tax, TV tax, advertising tax, land use charge, and so many. If you park in front of your house, you will be taxed, market tax, Agbiru tax and all that. That is too much at this very crucial time of hunger and starvation in the land. And so for once, I want to support them. Government should look, from what I have read about this strike, some of them complain that when you make 10,000, you give 7,000 out of 10,000 to different groups in the parks. That to me is extortion, the highest level of extortion. How can I? You are not fueling my bus. You are not fueling. You are not servicing my car. Why will you be the one to enjoy from my sweat? Far more than me that is doing the work. So government should look into their complaints.
But according to what these drivers are saying, they said some of these people are Lagos State agents that are collecting this morning from them at the the various bus stops. Don't
forget, yes, they are right. Don't forget that the Lagos State government, after the crisis in the NURTW, officially recognized MC Oluomo as the chairman of Lagos State Parks. Whatever that means, I don't know. I don't know why government will dabble into things that should be handled by private individuals. Government had no business. The government had no business in the running of parks, But like they have done in the past, it is time for politics, and election is coming. They want to maximize the use of these park boys to access votes from that section of the economy. But if it is not well handled, it could backfire, just like we have a strike on our hands now. On my way here this morning, I saw a motley crowd at bus stops and all that. The people are suffering for the effects and actions of the government. Why should that be? Yes, you have BRT and whatever other buses on the roads, but these buses too are economically and socially relevant to the survival of the people of Lagos. So I don't believe in cheating. They should not be cheated. Government should quickly look into their demands and find a way of resolving this crisis before it begins to take lives. You know what those boys can do. I'm sure Yanokpaja will be boiling now. Places like Oshodi, Yaba will be boiling now. So if it is not well handled, we could have some kind of injuries or loss of lives as a result of this crisis.
Well, we just hope it doesn't lead to that. But let's move away from that and talk about the Naira redesign. I'm sure you saw it. Everyone, we have people talking about it throughout the weekend. But what do you think about this idea?
By the way, I support it. I support it. If you read the reasons why CBN is taking that step, the CBN said out of there is only 20% of the entire money that should be in circulation actually circulating. The remaining 80% of the funds that should be circulating in the economy are in the hands of individuals. No economy can survive in that kind of situation. If you look at what has happened now after the announcement of the redesigning of Naira notes, the rate of exchange for dollars has gone up because the people who stacked money in their homes are now using them to buy dollars, which is good. Dollar will rise a little, Not even, it can go as far as 1,000 per dollar. But I can bet you that it will drop sharply later. Because what we have is a system where all those who have kept this money in their homes are now targeting dollars. And if you buy dollar with Naira, somehow that money will find its way back into circulation. It will find its way back into circulation either through the malam that sold the dollar for you, because he won't have the courage to keep Naira in his house now. He would rather take the Naira to the bank. So indirectly, the money that are stacked in homes, inside graves, inside the toilets, will find their way into the economy. It's the rise of the dollar against the Naira is going to be temporary. I can assure you of that. It's a normal thing when you want to exchange Naira. I learned that in some homes, people will just set up mountains of Naira notes as if we don't have banks. So if you want 1 billion, they can go into their bedroom and bring it out for you. That is not good for the economy. So I support the redesigning of the Naira notes. It is very crucial that it should be done. CBN said this is supposed to have been done on an 8-year basis. You do it every 8 years, but it has not been done in the last up to 20 years. So if they do it, let us see the effects. I hope the effects will be positive, because from what I can see happening now, people are rushing to buy dollars. And indirectly, the Naira they are using to buy dollars will find its way back to the economy.
Well, let's talk about the insecurity reasons. The fact that some of these kidnappers might not, because they have a lot of Naira stocks now with them. Now they might actually have.
Their spokesman came out last weekend, Sheikh Gumi. I don't know why we still continue to leave this man to roam the streets free. He came out that if we are redesigning the Naira, kidnappers would demand for dollars. By now, I thought government should have picked up that man. It is obvious that he is one of the strong pillars behind kidnapping in this country, and nobody is doing anything about it. What kind of statement is that? That is treasonable. You are openly telling the world that if kidnappers can't get Naira, they will shift to collecting dollars. And the man is still free. And you keep talking about looking for the sponsors of kidnappers. You have seen one. The government have seen one. And nobody is doing anything about that. That's a very stupid statement to make, to come from Sheikh Gumi. And I think government should take steps to get him to explain the meaning of that statement.
But it seems that some people are against this Naira, this Naira redesign, like the Minister of Finance. She's against it. But of course, we have the president who backed it up.
I don't believe that she can be against an act that the president has approved.
But do you think we can afford it now, Mr. Liu?
Why? What is wrong in redesign? I don't think we can't afford it. Whatever it will take, let them go ahead and redesign the Naira. The government of Ghana did it. They redesigned the cedi, and in fact, it reduced inflation in that country. It reduced inflation in Ghana. If you go to Ghana today, you cannot find them using the cedis in whatever way they like. Look at those selling the Naira at parties. They sell brand new notes, whereas you can't find those notes in the banks.
No, you can't.
You can never get them in the banks. So there is a cartel within the banking system that brings out these new notes, sell them to those who go to parties to resell at exorbitant rates. You want to buy 1,000, you are going to pay 30% of it. I used to do it, but I have stopped. It doesn't make sense. I would rather give whatever I want to buy, to do whatever money I want to use to buy the smaller denomination to spray. I would rather give it to whoever is celebrating in an envelope. It doesn't make any economic sense. And I'm sure those guys too, they are not making the profit they were making before. They are not making it now. So it is high time we all sit down and support whatever move that will boost the economy of the country. We are all living in Nigeria. A bag of rice yesterday, as at yesterday, is 42,000, 50 kg.
Yeah, I think we also have some selling it for 50,000.
What I saw yesterday was 52,000 naira. Then the other one, the smaller one, 25 kg, 26,000. So how did we find ourselves at this level? Because people don't care about what happens to the economy. Everybody is just running to make money, enough money for their children and the ones that are not even born, forgetting that the owner of life can easily snap and take that life, no matter what you have kept there for your children. We've seen so many billionaires that have died, and you don't even hear of what they own again. So we have to be careful the way we run after money. What do you need to do with 10 billion naira in life? You can't eat more than your stomach can take. So all these acts, very, very greedy acts, we must try and check them individually. If we can't do that individually, then we must set up rules to force people to comply with monetary rules.
All right, let's move away from that and talk about the security threat in Abuja. And of course, President Muhammadu Buhari said he will meet with security chiefs in the nation's capital, Abuja, to further review and strengthen the security network in the country. What do you think of the terror threat in that?
You see, each time there is an alarm from the American government, we shouldn't take it lightly. The Minister of Information came out and dismissed that alert as a mere noise. Now we have a report that soldiers neutralized some bandits who were trying to attack a military barrack in Abuja. Has it been confirmed now that the alert is genuine? You see, when we have such assistance coming from a country like America, we shouldn't take it lightly. As at yesterday, we've had pockets of attempts to attack Abuja, just like the Americans said. If we didn't have that alert, the situation would have been so bad and bloody between Thursday and yesterday. You see, if we need assistance, we should genuinely request for assistance. It is obvious that Nigeria as a nation needs foreign assistance to combat banditry and kidnapping. We should genuinely appeal to countries that can help us. Because if we continue like this, just like the Americans predicted, they could run down the country like they did in Afghanistan. You've seen these people taking over in Afghanistan, busted into the president's house and brought all sorts of individuals there enjoying what they have never enjoyed in their lives. If we are not careful, I pray we don't have the Afghanistan situation in Nigeria, because Nigeria is such a large population that I don't know which country in Africa can accommodate us if there is a crisis here. So we should manage our situation very well and be serious with whatever information we get from advanced countries concerning our security matters. They should take them seriously, because if anything happens, no one will be exempted from it is going to be from the president down to the ordinary Nigerian. Because the president, I don't pray he will lose his life, but if we can have a situation where a crisis will be created that will force the president, that could force the president to vacate his seat. I don't pray that it happens in Nigeria. So we should coordinate and cooperate with foreign governments that can give us reliable situation. I learned that Turkey is sending in some drones and whatever equipment to assist us in getting on top of this situation that we have. We should welcome and actually cooperate with the Turkish government in this area. We shouldn't reject their proposal, because it is obvious that we cannot combat these crimes, these criminal acts within us. So we shouldn't just dismiss all those alerts as if they are not important.
All right, lastly, let's quickly look at this one. There are reports that Nigeria loses 70,000 barrels of crude daily, and that's according to the minister.
It didn't just start today, Damilola. I have known this for years. There was a year I flew with a national security advisor in Nigeria in an helicopter to the high seas. And the level of theft that we saw was disturbing. All this theft comes to be in active collaboration with members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, especially the Nigerian Navy. No thief can come into the Nigerian shores with badges without the Navy knowing. And so if we want to solve this problem, we should sit down the Chief of Naval Staff and take him to task on the activities of his boys, because they are doing a lot of damage to the economy. Look at the volume of oil that they steal daily. No, if that volume is sold, we are going to earn a lot of money, but it goes into private, whatever they earn goes into private pockets. It's not me and you that will go to the IC to steal oil. We don't even have money to buy badges. We don't even have money to feed ourselves yet. So those who are involved in that act are the big boys in our society. And the government should search for those guys and deal with them appropriately, except the government have a knowledge of all these acts. That is why they are not able to track them. It's not the ordinary Nigerian that will go and steal. Yes, you are talking of the big boys. They must be billionaires before. It takes billions to hire or buy a badge or badges to keep crude. I don't even know, apart from an occasion that I ran into the presentation, the formal presentation of a quantity of crude oil procured by Summit Oil when we were in Concord. I don't know what crude oil looked like. If you ask me now, I don't know what it looks like. So it's not a job for the ordinary Nigerians. It's a job for the top boys, the big boys in government. So the government should not go far in searching for the culprits of this criminal act. They should look within the government and fish out these people. If they say they can't fish them out, then the government itself is involved.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Liu. Let's end this on a lighter note with Mr. and Mrs. The first person speaking today is Mr. It says, leave me alone, Jessica. When you rub my arm like that, I part with money. And Mrs. replied, is that a crime? He said, yes, no, arm robbery. The arm is H-A-A-R-M.
You can't call women arm robbers. It is part of love. It's a very critical part of loving a woman. You have to give.
And of course, Mrs. You always know the weak point of Mr.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr.
You're most welcome.
And of course, is CEO of Magnet Communications, former editor of Daily Times and Concord newspaper. We just reviewed and analyzed some of the stories on the front pages with us this morning. Now, to get more of our top stories, you can follow us on all the social media platforms showing on your screen. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, our WhatsApp number is also displayed on your screen. My name is Damlola Ogunshakin.